Welcome, dear readers, to Cover My Ass, where baffling books are reviewed but not read by yours trulies.
I am Kay.
My name is... Oh, yeah.
Yes.
My name is... what is... Oh, I'm sure it'll come to me. And we find ourselves, for the first time, in... Remember what?
That we only review a book by its cover?
Oh, is that what we do? Oh, okay. No, that seems like a fun idea.
Yes, that seems to be like our thing. It's like it has been for 91 episodes.
For what?
91 episodes? This is episode 92?
No, I don't see how that's possible. I literally just arrived here in your library.
Oh, okay. But
I'm delighted to see it. Do you want to maybe give me a tour? Like, I've never been here before.
So, yes, you're Kaki and I'm Kay. And
that's
this
right.
is Cover Your Ass. And we only...
Cover Your Ass. What a lovely idea.
Sorry, Cover My Ass.
Is that the name of a show?
Yes, it is.
We're doing... Okay, welcome, dear readers, to... See,
Cover My Ass, yes.
I thought it was Cover My Ass because I had this little note here, but I'll scratch that out.
It is Cover My Ass.
It'll be Cover Your Ass.
I was a little bit confused here because, I mean, you seem to have like injured yourself a little bit.
Oh, have I?
I'm a little bit concerned. I think you bumped your head or something.
Oh, my head? No, I feel fine.
Okay, good.
It's a little wet. Oh, what's this?
Yes.
No, that's not...
It's not. Don't do that. Oh.
What? Don't do what?
Blood? Okay, never mind.
What did you want me to do?
Oh God.
I've got red on me.
Yes. Hold on.
Don't
lick it. Don't touch it. I mean, it's too late to not touch it.
It is kind of all over my hand.
What happened? What were you doing? You don't remember, of course, because
yeah. Okay, so yeah, you're a little ahead of me there.
Yes. Okay, so we've got a bit of a problem here because you don't remember reading the book either, do you?
Which book?
Yes. Oh well. We'll get back to that in a moment.
Okay.
Let me just grab some towels here and see if I can get that ink off you. At least the wet part. I mean, it's like it seems to have already soaked into your skin a little bit. You've got some on your forehead. I don't know what you've been doing. I told you to stay away from the red ink.
Did you?
Yes.
When did you tell me that?
Oh, back in episode 20 or earlier even.
We've done episodes?
Yes, we have. It's like you are here in my library on the first floor.
Yes.
Actually on the second floor, but it's what Americans call the first floor. No, it's the other. It's the other way.
Oh, see, I do remember some things.
Here on the first floor of my library.
Like pedantic obscura, those I remember. But real basics like my name, Kaki, you said? Okay.
You are starting to recover. That sounds like the Kaki I know, so that's good.
Oh, good. See, apparently no amount of mystical ink can erase the core traits. Oh, mystical ink. How do I know that?
It's the red ink. I've warned you from the red ink. So I don't know what you were doing with the red ink.
I mean, kind of by definition, neither do I, if this is one of the things that red ink does.
It looks like you've been using it to catalogue the bookshelves or something like that. And you clearly have spilled some onto yourself.
There's like a whole list of runes here.
Written in red ink, which I told you not to, but, it's...
I don't remember. I'm sorry.
No, clearly you haven't.
And if I forgot that I forgot, I apologize.
You are here in my library, and you are my assistant librarian.
Oh, that explains the assistant librarian card. See, I checked my wallet to see if I had any ID.
There you go.
And it had a picture of myself while I was sleeping, which I thought was a little weird.
It's easier to take pictures of you when you're sleeping.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you also smell different when you're sleeping, but that's different.
So I don't use my nose, is what you're saying?
Oh, I wouldn't know about that.
What do I smell with?
I mean, I would assume you'd still smell with your nose, but
you said I smell different.
Yes.
I thought you meant
No, that would be smelling differently.
Oh God, we had into that. See, you remember your pointless obscura as well. Hey, but if this is what we do, and it says here like baffling books reviewed but not read, like we should probably still be able to do that, right?
What? Review a baffling book that we've not read? I
mean, okay, so we'll probably have to hide from the readers the fact that I can't remember reading this book.
Yes.
But if my Swiss-cheesed brain still remembers pointless pedantic obscura...
Yes, then I'm sure we can
be fine.
I'm sure we can just wing it.
Right?
Yeah, we just look at the cover of the book, and then we'll just review it.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody would ever catch on to that unless they've actually read the book themselves.
See, that's what
when's that ever happened?
I certainly wouldn't know.
No.
So, welcome, dear readers, to the first episode of the... Oh, wait, not the first. It's the 92nd episode, gosh, of Cover My Ass. And do we have any other catchphrases? Do we have any other information that we usually tell them? Do we have like a homepage or a Twitter?
Oh, yes. We are Cover My Ass Cast at Twitter, on Twitter.
Yes.
And you can reach us at covermyasscast@gmail.com.
Wow, you said that with such confidence. Like you must have had a lot of practice. You must have said that every episode.
I have never said it before. I've just listened to you say it 91 times before, so it kind of like sank into the fact, which is kind of remarkable because it's not always gone exactly the way it's supposed to have been going. But yes.
That seems unlikely. I seem like the kind of person you could just imagine something once and then just repeat it for
you'd write that out on a prompt for yourself, so you just can read it off and you don't have to I just fumble with it every time.
It anywhere on my notes here. But, oh well.
You do see you have some notes. Are they written in red ink?
These aren't.
Oh, okay.
I think
that was clever. I mean, that would be very annoying if you've written your notes in red ink, because that would mean like every scene would be completely new.
Yes, while we're doing okay on the Danish Apple iTunes improv comedy podcasts top 50.
Oh, wow.
I don't think that I'm a good enough improviser to be able to completely reinvent each book every scene that we get back to. But
no, that would be hard.
So what do we have in store for, I guess, me this week?
Well, this week's book is by Kenneth Bulmer. It's called City Under the Sea, and it is apparently science fiction at its best.
Yes, I love that. And there's there's quite a bit happening on the front of the book.
Yeah, apparently
that's probably how I say it. That's probably one of my catchphrases, isn't it?
I mean, it's like apparently it costs 2 shillings and 6pence. At least I assume that's what the 2/6.
Or it could be 2.5 feet.
Which seems unlikely. I mean, a 2'6" long digit doesn't seem like really a very...
The digit kind of got me. Like, it's dealing with the antithesis of decimality, which is the British currency system sensibilization.
74, or when did it go again? Early 70s, I believe they switched over.
That sounds right, yeah.
So, what we have is Steve Carroll in a swimsuit.
He kind of is, and it's quite a revealing swimsuit.
It is.
It's more like a little waistcoat.
Swim loincloth.
Look at that! It's a crop top.
Well, I think it's just meant to be a BCD, but
a what?
It's a buoyancy control device. It's like one of those little inflatable vests that divers wear to literally control their buoyancy. It's like it works like a fish's swim bladder. It's like you can inflate it with a little bit of air from your tanks, or deflate it, and thereby make sure that you have neutral buoyancy at whichever level in the ocean you are.
What dictates the buoyancy required at different levels?
Basically, your volume and the ambient pressure. So literally only your volume, and actually weight as well.
Right.
Weight as well, because over time, your volume is pretty much constant as a diver, but your weight will change because you are slowly emptying your air tank. So over time, you will get significantly lighter.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And of course, you have to adjust for pressure.
Gosh, I'm learning so much here already. This is literally like the second piece of information that I've had aside from my name and this podcast. So third.
So he is swimming with some red flippers on, and he's
showing off quite a bit of midriff, by the way.
He does, yeah. It's like he's got this loinclothy type swim trunks, and he's got this like diving knife strapped at an awkward angle to his face. To his leg.
Yes.
And he's carrying what looks like a machine gun or something.
Yes,
underwater.
I think that's his science gun.
So, science gun. I guess we're going to get to that later in the show.
Because behind him
is a man on a shark.
Well, not just any man.
No, of course not. That is, as we shall learn later, Commander Chum.
Yes, and Commander Chum, besides wearing kick-ass boots, which I think is just the best kind of underwater fashion, he is wearing his knife correctly on his belt in a fashion that is
also got
reachable.
A crop top.
Yeah, this
seemed to be a thing.
Yeah, I guess they all want to show off like their belly button piercings.
I suppose that's going to be a thing,
Is there a nice word for the tattoo on the lower back above the backside?
Oh,
besides the tramp stamp. Yes. Is there a better word for that? That is antlers. Yes.
Ass antlers. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. And Commander Chum with his anglerfish type like glowing bulb on his forehead.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is, at least.
It must be some kind of sensory device rather than a lure, because, well, if it is a lure, then
it's not
our
working.
Hero exactly is kind of ignoring it, and that is Fluke Skywalker.
Oh, that's what his name is. And of course, he's got his shark set in full forward. As you can see, like the tank-like controls on the forehead of the shark.
Oh, is that what they are?
I think it was. It's like that. I mean, that's how you drive a tank. You have like 2 levers, and each lever has 3 positions: forward, neutral, and reverse. And basically, the left lever controls the left thread, and the right lever controls the right thread. So you can have them both forward, and then you're like driving forward. You can have them both backwards. You have one forward and backwards. And like
so this controls like the starboard fin, and then the other one controls
At least that's what I think it is.
Port fin.
Yeah. So this shark is stuck in full forward.
Yes, because he's got these knobs sticking out of his forehead. And should we tell the readers at home that they can see this picture that we're looking at?
Why don't we do
this
that?
Seems like an audio.
You can see it if you
close your
if you look
eyes
at your
and imagine
podcasting device. You should be able to see the cover of today's book.
You sounded uncertain there, but
I mean, it depends. Not all podcasting devices show cover, so that's where there's a little bit of uncertainty.
Oh, so is there an alternative where they can see the cover?
They can see it on our site, covermyasscast.com. Is it?
That's right.
Yeah, it is right.
Is it? No, question mark. No. That must have been some pedantic esoterica, otherwise I wouldn't have remembered it.
You would have thought so, yes. That's where you could look at today's cover, The City Under the Sea.
By Kenneth Bulmer. Yes, it's a good thing that our website is so obscure and very rarely mentioned, because probably otherwise the red ink would have erased it from my mind, like other relevant information.
It must be a very obscure website.
So Fluke Skywalker we see here.
One more thing, which is like neither of them is wearing face masks or breathing apparatus or anything like that.
That's right.
I mean in case of Commander Chum that makes sense, but in case of Fluke Skywalker, being human, I believe, is
it's specific to Commander Fluke Skywalker because he is the only person in the world who can hold his breath for more than 45 minutes.
Oh, yes.
Which makes him extremely suitable for these kind of underwater...
Yes. Guy Wood Threepwood can only hold his breath for 7 or 8 minutes.
Guy Brush
Threepwood, that's the one, yes.
See, it's the pedantic obscura.
Yes.
That's just right at the front of my mind.
I mean, there's nothing else there, so it might as well be.
Thanks. I wonder how different that is from usual.
No comment, Your Honour.
Thank you. And it's got some fish around it, but yes.
And some fronds.
With fronds like these.
Who needs an enemies, yes.
Yeah.
The book actually doesn't start with the scene. I mean, like many books don't start with the scene that you see on the cover. Instead, we are on planet Nemosis, which is where Commander Chum is preparing his next invasion.
Ah, yeah.
Yes, they are basically moving to the next pond, which is what they call planets. Because they're basically called... They're ponds
pond hoppers.
Pond hoppers, and they're basically livable ponds in the emptiness of space. Because they are they are a mostly aquatic species who move from one planet to the other, and they seed it with their...
spawn.
The plant life native to their own environment. And after letting it seed in for a few millennia, they move over there in their space fleet, and they have a new planet completely neoformed, I suppose I should call it, because they're not going to call it terraformed. Yes. Aquaforming, yes.
Yeah, it's sort of, which I guess is sort of a practice that pond and aquarium lovers do as well.
And they move in and they have like a new territory to get the...
Aquascaping, is that the one?
Aquascaping. Is that like Brazilian?
Oh, yeah. So they are literally like pond hoppers.
Yes.
Going from planet to planet and preparing it for their invasion and inhabitation.
Yes, they prepare the invasion and they send it off to the next suitable planet or a bunch of planets. They don't know which one's going to take. It's very much like spawning fish, They'll just like spread it all over the place and then whatever takes, it takes. And then they just like find out which ones were the good ones later and they move over to those planets and keep building on their empire.
Throwing sticky green saline reproductive spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Exactly. There's a lot of sticking going on, and this makes them like understandably unpopular in the galactic community because they're making a mess all over the place.
Yeah, so it's rather unfortunate that they are the ones who first discover a little blue planet called Earth.
And they like it because it's already like 75% water, or 80%, how much is it? Like 70%?
That sounds about right. I
mean, it's probably correct, because if I said it wrong, you would have remembered it immediately.
Yes, that's right. Okay, good thing to know going forward. But yes, they discover a probe sailing through the vast blackness of space, Voyager 23, from Earth, and it's inscribed with the usual offensive graffiti, these weird pink-skinned aliens with all of their junk out.
Yeah, sending them nudes in a mixtape, It's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, specifically, while it previously used to be the Golden Record, as you recall, which it had some really useful stuff on there. It had jazz and like the sound of laughter and messages of welcome in different languages, and for some reason also the names of all the sitting senators at the time that the budget was approved.
Oh, funny that.
Yeah, it's weird how it got submitted to the Congress, and then it sort of emerged from Congress with enough funding, but also these additional pieces of information that had to be sent out to all aliens everywhere. But in this case, instead of that kind of universal message of love and welcome and like trying to describe where Earth is in relation to other known quasars or pulsars or whatever it was, the difference is, I think nobody's clear. In this case, Earth Earth had sent out the Guinness Book Golden Record.
Oh.
Where instead of like saying like welcome and useful things, they talk about
how great they are.
Yes, that they have people who can hold their breath for 45 minutes, that they have a woman in Sao Paulo who can lift 6 pianos, and a Chinese basketballer who can jump 25 meters, and of course, Fluke Skywater. What did I say? Skywater, that's right.
Skywater, okay, yes.
Who can hold his breath for 45 minutes, and just showing off their supremacy to the rest of the universe, because they are what's known as a brag race.
Oh, that's the one. It's like Earth's brag race.
Yes, Earth is a hilarious brag race that just lives to show off how great they are.
I think it was run by a guy called Rude Paul or something like that.
Yes, it was a kangaroo called Paul, I think.
Oh,
that's
right.
Rude
Paul. I thought it was Rude Paul, as in like, he's like a bit of an abrasive character.
Signed Rude Paul. The Nemosians, is that correct? Nemosians?
Nemosians, yes.
Discover this, and like none of them can hold their breath for 45 minutes without genetic engineering, and none of them can like lift 6 pianos. It takes them a little while to figure out what a piano is without
it does, yeah.
an exoskeleton, and they must have been outraged because they have their sights suddenly set on Earth.
Yes.
A nothing planet, a nothing burger.
No, and they are making straight for it. They decide to go on their world-seeding expedition now that they have Earth in their sights. And they basically...
I don't like the sound of that, I've got to say.
Well, it is kind of what you would expect, except what they do...
Really? World seeding? Hold on, I'll just look this up real quick on the internet. Now, let's see, what's the first... well, I've got a bookmark for something called Xtube. That must be a search engine. So Xtube and then world seeding... Oh, really? And that's what the Nemosians are into?
Are you going to need 5 minutes for yourself?
Oh, 5 minutes seems optimistic. But
okay.
Yeah, I'll do that later.
Yeah, all right then.
So, wow.
Basically, what they do is they send off a icy asteroid, or maybe a comet is probably a better word. Basically,
it's neither.
What?
It's neither an asteroid nor a comet.
Well, no.
It's a meteor.
Well, and then it becomes a meteorite. I mean,
like it's a meteor when it crosses into the atmosphere, and it's a meteorite if it then hits the Earth.
Right, but in this case, it's just basically a big icy sphere which is hurtling towards Earth on the liquid on the inside, so it contains all the needed animals and plants and bacteria.
See, that's really clever, but it's still. And I'm sorry that I gotta like dump this pedantic obscura on you, but while it may be like heavenly bodies, they can be asteroids and comets all they want. But if they ever cross into Earth's atmosphere,
then it becomes a meteor. Okay, so an asteroid becomes fair enough.
Yep, if it never strikes the Earth, then it's an asteroid. And if it burns up an atmosphere, then it's a meteor. And if it's
and then it hits the ground, it's a meteorite.
It's a sort of teleological definition.
In this case, there's no rocky or iron core, so nothing is ever going to actually hit the ground. It doesn't matter. Survive.
I think most asteroids are chunks of ice. Most comets are at least mostly ice, right? Why else would they ablate so much?
No, that's very true. I mean, they are.
This podcast is unleashing so much of my brain. This is so exciting.
It's great, isn't it? Like it's almost like you're discovering it for the first time. But yes, they shoot a barrage of their world-seeding meteorites, I suppose I should call them now. World-seeding meteorites off at Earth, and this has the predictable effect on the people of Earth. They see this incoming threat, and they immediately consider themselves challenged to a cosmic water balloon fight.
Yes. Now it does take a little bit to get there, because at first, I mean, the Earth is struck by extraterrestrial like heavenly bodies causing untold damage, the giant tsunamis from the impacts, the rising sea levels, but never underestimate the ability of human denial. And like the upper classes, especially those that sort of rule the oceans. I mean, this is a late capitalist society that is stratified into near aristocracy. So on the ocean, you have the local rulers of the sea, the Ahoy-Polloi, who say there's nothing going on. Like this is just natural.
This is normal. This is just some wet meteorites hitting the atmosphere.
Exactly. Nothing to worry about. There's nothing different until there's some stone stern warnings from the Sturgeon General, who says that this is very unusual and we really do need to do something about it. So, okay, fine. Then the primitive humans of Earth interpret this the only way they can as a challenge that they should meet. Because, they want the bragging rights.
Yeah, of course they do. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I also had Sturgeon General, and I had
actually
had a name for him.
So thanks to the Sturgeon General, Benjamin Plankton.
Oh, yes.
Earth decides to reinvest in its space program to meet this alien menace head on.
No, not an alien menace, alien challenge.
Oh, yes, of course.
They have noticed that there's actually other people out there, and now they have been challenged to an intergalactic water balloon fight, and they will meet it with determination.
Now, I understand that the Nemosians must be chuckling at this, because hurling a giant rock across the universe takes some time. It takes some planning and an understanding of the naturally occurring gravitational eddies. And there's no way that a primitive species like humanity is going to work out this, let alone faster than light technologies in the centuries that it's going to take them to completely obliterate the Earth. They're unimpressed.
But Earth takes to the challenge.
Yes, using a rather unusual technology that catches the Nemosians by surprise. So they take their inspiration, as humans often do, from the natural world around them. And one of the species that is most successfully resisting this new encroaching biosphere is the mantis shrimp.
Yes,
the mantis shrimp, known for delivering, and this is more pedantic obscura.
Oh, these little snapping vacuum. Yes. What's it called?
Shrimp. I mean,
mantis shrimp. Yeah, I know, but
and they've got these clubs that they can sort of batter someone with, but
claws,
so hard that water is dispersed, creating a vacuum bubble,
vacuum cavitation. That's the word I was looking for.
That is correct. So using this stop ocean cavitation technique, with machines designed for this a decavitation. A decavitation machine is called a guillotine.
Oh, God, yes. Decavitation. Oh, God.
That's right. So when you activate a guillotine, you get your cavitation. When you stop the ocean around it, inside that vacuum cavity emerges a little synthetic wormhole, which you can use to target anywhere in the universe. So humans have skipped the usual technology tree to get to faster than light, and they can send their intergalactic water balloons straight into orbit of Nemesis.
Faster than life technology.
Which they're obviously very keen to brag about, and they're already inscribing the next Guinness Book of Golden Record for the next Voyager
So they basically send off their first vacuum cavitation bubble off to Nemesis and attach a few notes calling the Nemosians betas and cusks.
Yes. That's right.
And of course, basically a friendly jib attached to them, which is they say "catch you later," which is of course not a friendly goodbye saying in Nemotion, but that's a threat. And Commander Chum decides okay, this is going to need his personal attention, and he will have to supervise the conquering of Earth himself. So he gets on his starship, the Hook and Sinker.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it's a ship of the line.
Oh yeah, I bet it is. Yeah, it sort of
through.
Looks like a pink starfish.
It does look a bit like a pink starfish.
Which the humans are pretty keen on commenting that.
It's some people are into that sort of thing.
Yeah, so Commander Chum, he's kind of like the King Finn of the Nemosian forces.
He is, absolutely. He's this big dude who is I guess the front cover doesn't really do him justice in that regard.
Well, that's why he's got the sort of glowing forehead. That's clearly his letter of marque.
Does it make sense to have a letter of marque when you are the government? I mean, a letter of marque is basically something that was granted to essentially a pirate.
I don't do as well when someone else has pedantic obscura. So
it doesn't. Does it hurt your feelings a little bit?
Well, it's just.
Does that make you feel like a beta or maybe like a cusk?
No, it doesn't. Okay. I don't ascribe to any of those particular labels. So we have the King Finn of Earth, the senior member of the Ahoy-Polloi, Scott-Lebat. Scuttlebutt is his nickname.
Yeah. Right, yeah, Scuttlebutt.
Scuttlebutt.
I mean, he's got ear to the ground for gossip.
Yeah, or like a conch shell to the surface.
Oh, very good. Yes.
Let's stick with the metaphors.
Ah, yes. I mean, what they say in the army, if you'd like put up your shoe to your ear, you can hear your drill sergeant shouting, "What kind of stupid shit are you up to?"
That sounds right. Do you know where the word scuttlebutt came from, by the way?
No, I don't. Do tell me.
Okay, so to scuttle, you know that, right?
Scuttling a ship. It's like,
Specifically, like putting a hole in it.
Yeah.
And a butt is a barrel.
Right.
So there would be a water barrel that had a hole in it that you could just go to and like dip a spoon in and get some water.
Oh, and
so literally the water hole, like the water
cooler.
The water cooler, like which is literally that's where people would like just hang out and have a wee glass of water for 5 minutes. So that's where the gossip happens.
Okay,
so like water cooler talk and scuttlebutt is the
same
exact
thing. Oh wow, I had no idea.
Isn't that cool?
Yes, that's very much.
Which is so. Yes, Scott Labatt has his conch shell to the waves.
Yes,
and he realizes that Commander Chum is on the way, and they need to meet that with, a Superman of their own. So they pick the one person who can hold his breath for 45 minutes,
Luke Skywalker,
and they give him a quick team. His assistants Marina and Callisto.
Ah, yes.
And one of them has a speech impediment, but not the one you'd think.
No, Marina is like definitely the...
Marina, she goes for, but
I mean, is that like, that's probably not a polite thing to do. It's like if someone has a speech impediment and they introduce themselves and their speech impediment influences the way they say their name, like would you then say it the way they say it or the way that name is generally pronounced?
Best guess, I suppose. You've got to just
I guess you have to like take it off someone else who knows them better at that point.
Or just if it's really unclear, then always you should just ask.
Oh, true.
A little bit of embarrassment saves a lot of
aggravation over time.
Exactly.
Something happened like recently. It's like someone was called Christian, and go like, actually, do you prefer Christian or Chris? You know, it's like just ask him, and then he goes like, and he says like it usually gets turned to Chris, but I prefer Christian. And like, okay, I know that now. He's like, because like, your urge is to like make it Chris, and apparently that happens a lot. And then you just go like, oh, that's why you ask.
Yeah, exactly. Now these assistants, like, they don't really pass the Bechdel test so much. I noticed in this book entirely, like they like to gossip about.
And they're talking a lot about flukes and.
His nickname is the Muscles from Brussels.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and both of them want Fluke to be their boyfriend.
Oh yes. So Commander Chum arrives on the hook and sinker, and basically dives right into Earth with their final bid to destroy this planet and claim it for their own.
Yes, and they chose a very inopportune moment for the humans to do this. Like they selected that most sacred of celebrations, celebrated the world over, Blow Holy Night.
Oh God, yes.
Blow holy night, the land is slowly sinking.
Well, which it does because there's
finally acknowledging like climate change.
It's because of the water balloon fight, of course. Yeah, of course. Like water levels are going to go up a bit, but they always go down again later, so it'll be fine. Especially if we do more of our
stop motion cavitation
and like send them right back to it. But Commander Chum comes in and they decide like, okay, they have this tactic which they use on planets which are not sufficiently barren for their seeding techniques. It's like just they move in and they decide to destroy a key species in the food chain. So to collapse the food chain and thereby take over the planet. Of course, they're completely water-based. So, like most of the humans, they don't even notice this going on because they're completely land-focused.
And, humans are losing species left and right and just don't notice them anyway. Like, the species diversity is declining percentages over year.
Yeah, and even better, I mean, they noticed with all the higher marine life forms dropping out, the amount of krill increases exponentially, which causes a great boost in the human krill farms. And you just go like, oh, great. Like, suddenly all this food that we can easily scoop up and use.
Yep, resulting in the creation of the most booming underwater city, like the new economy, and everyone is flocking to Grand Central Cetacean.
Yes,
as it's known.
Krill farming takes off like great. You have surimi everything. You have surimi cows. You have surimi.
Wow, what is a? Yeah, I remember that was a horrifying creature. What was the surimi cow described as?
No, it's beef meat from surimi. It's like
I think you misread that. I think your first instinct was correct. It was a surimi cow.
Oh well,
and what do they?
It was kind of like a whitish creature. creature with like some thin legs, which seem to be made out of rolled up fish paste like material,
God,
and like it's got like an orange stripe around over its back.
Oh wow!
And it's kind of like, I mean, like, you can make a lot of sushi out of one surimi cow.
I mean, it is great. You basically just slice them up, and, and you're good to go.
And if you slice them one way, you get like strips, and if you slice them the other way, you get circles, and if you slice them on the diagonal, you get spirals. I get just different cycles.
Spirals?
Ovals. No, you get ovals.
Yeah, that seems like
it's all a spiral anyway.
You've got a cylinder. None of it's a spiral.
Rolled up fish protein flakes. So,
is it?
I mean, that's basically what's really...
it starts off as a sheet and then it gets rolled up.
Exactly,
wow.
And then the last bit gets colored, so it kind of gets the shrimp coloring, or in this case, cow coloring.
That's like, that seems like space folding technology. I wonder if
it is. I mean,
that's the next generation of stop ocean cavitation.
Well, it's a different path.
So Commander Chum, like their attack on Grand Central Cetacean does not
go very
really succeed.
No, I mean, their big plan to destroy the key species and reduce the food chain, it backfires tremendously, and the humans go like, oh great, all this krill, we're just going to move over to a krill-based economy. We can just like use the protein and turn it into whatever the hell we want.
Even the basic security around Grand Central Cetacean, well funded by its burgeoning krill industry, is easily able to repel Commander Chum and his Lagoon Squad.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been a Lagoon Squad, but they're completely water-based. They don't have anything to deal with the solid surfaces of Earth, which is what like the biggest problem they have. They have like they're based on fluke skywater, and they think that everything underwater, that's the only thing there is. That's like any land might as well be the top of Mount Everest as far as they're concerned. Like someone might go there if they're insane and curious, but so humanity just pretty much keeps on living in ignorance of what's going on underneath its waters. Yep,
never even aware of their invasion, and they.
Suddenly seafood becomes really cheap. I mean, imitation seafood becomes really cheap. I mean, I guess the Japanese complain a little bit that there's no more bluefin tuna and squids.
Well, those are being cloned again at Grand Central Cetacean. I mean, there is an active cloning program where they're making baby sea mammals.
Yes.
That old song, "A Whale in a Manger."
Oh yes, that's. I never really...
It's one of those Blow Holy Night songs.
Oh, that's the one, yes. It's the one time a year that all of humanity, or at least the western part of it, comes together and...
at least pretends to.
There's that, yes.
There's a lot of acrimony there. But yeah, on the anniversary of this invasion that Earth never noticed while its economy is blossoming, the guillotines are activated, and one of the biggest wormholes is created through which Fluke Skywater, Marina, and Callisto fly off into the vast depths of the universe in their Tide Pod.
Oh yes, I thought that was a very interesting choice of name.
Yeah, it seems like a kind of unwise challenge, but hey,
no, as long as you don't like put it in your mouth, I believe it's fine to like go out and go to the different ponds in your Tide Pod.
Yeah, exactly, and the brag race spreads out into the rest of the galaxy.
Yeah, they're challenging the Nemosians at their own game basically, and subverting them with their Tide Pods. I mean, their Tide Pods are not very good for the local ecology from the Nemosian planets.
No, they are not. It's all CFCs.
And yeah, the Nemosians are like completely unprepared to deal with a counterattack as they see it on such a biological, chemical level. And of course, the humans are still as blissfully ignorant as they always are when they go traipsing into a new environment.
I felt bad for the Nemosians as we zoomed out at the end of the book and we saw the reports of the Earth-Nemosis War being circulated among the rest of the advanced galactic community who didn't pay it a lot of mind. It's sort of a natural expression of like they're sort of galactic gardeners by themselves who have been passing the eons of galactic time by engaging in an engineering contest, a genetic engineering contest. Like who can manipulate the most capable human? Because they're this pliant, dumb little species. Can we create one that can hold his breath for 45 minutes?
And yes, I love that ending when it was like turns out to be like this power play of this weird alien who'd just like been secretly engineering this into the humans to stop the Nemosians in their expansion drift. And the rest of the universe is happy to take a step back and just move from one Nemosian planet to the other and like
see what else they come up with,
and preferably keep them as ignorant as they can about the rest of the actually civilized universe.
Yeah. Now, and occasionally, like, grab a little innovation when it comes along, like stop ocean cavitation as a means of FTL transport is pretty cool.
Well, it's a little bit of concern because they go like, oh, we have to be careful that they don't use that to actually get in touch with the real people of the universe. I thought that was a kind of like a cool touch when it like you get the step back and it turns out that everything has basically been happening in this like cosmic fish tank.
Yes,
where it's like,
exactly.
Where it's been like basically cosmic fish fighting between big species, and that was a very nice little twist of the.
As if our galaxy itself is the city under the sea.
Yes,
by Kenneth Bulmer. I thought it was a rather good book.
It was very entertaining. I love the various humans and their especially Fluke Skywater, and it's like known as the muscles from Brussels, which is like, I mean, I'm not sure what part of his anatomy was referred to as the muscles, but it's like,
well, whatever has two valves.
Ooh. I'm not sure I can.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure. I liked I thought the Nemosians were so clever. Like the water balloon fight is such a cool idea.
It
of
is.
Just
well, I mean,
setting an entire self-contained chunk of, because you could just send it through the depths of space.
Yeah.
You need a little bit of heat to keep it from
freezing,
ablating entirely.
and then it'll just like float in and like completely seed the planet with their own life forms that they need.
Which, unfortunately for the Nemosians, included some delicious variations of krill.
Humans are like opportunistic, if nothing else.
So how are we going to rate this book?
I think it's a bit of a fisherman's tale.
What does that mean numerically? I know a fishwife's tale.
7 loaves? No, wait, 5 loaves and 7 fishes? How much was it?
That sounds about right. I mean, that doesn't really seem like the esoterica that I stuff my little brain with.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of fish in the sea.
Definitely.
So we have to like rate it out of a lot.
That seems like we're getting farther away from...
Right, a solution. I mean,
saline solution. What's the normal percentage of saline in the ocean?
Oh, dear. It varies like quite a lot.
Really?
Yes, especially near the poles, it's much lower than...
because of all the meltwater.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like, there's no way of saying like, I think it's on average 4%.
Well, what did you say about the percentage of the Earth that's covered in water? You said it so confidently.
Yeah, let's say 73%.
Let's say, okay, 73 out of?
100.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good book.
So, okay, that's
73 out of...
That sounds pretty decent.
Like, we don't have rotten tomato, I guess we have rotten shellfish. So...
Okay, so from now on, we're always going to do percentages. Is that what we always do and always have done? Okay, well,
we'll see about that. I mean, it would be very convenient if we don't have to think up a random weird thing to rate a book by every time. And like that would seem to be insane to do for 92 episodes in a row. It's like rather than just like take a percentage or give it a score at 1 out of 10.
Maybe it's one of those memoryless systems that it just it's brand new every time. I mean, it certainly will be for me if I keep licking my fingers. I just noticed that I've kind of forgotten why we started this.
So we'll call the shrimp 73% rotten.
That sounds good to me. And what do we have in store for our readers next week?
Next week's book is by Barry H. Downing, The Bible and Flying Saucers.
Thank you for joining us at Cover My Ass, where baffling books are reviewed but not read by yours truly. My name is Kaki.
And I'm Kay. And remember, we only judge a book by its cover.
So I've understood.
There you go. The trivia has come back.
Yes, it has. Oh, see, I wish I was this clever, because I went on Twitter and I looked for my friend Rueth, who just has the most fantastic Twitter display names.
Right, he's like
Holy Night. Look, those are
he's the citation required.
Oh, citation required.